Hello, and welcome back to next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And I do just really hope, I'm just not seeing my screen, and I do just really hope that this time the audio is fine, because this is gonna be just a normal episode, not a 10-minute episode like yesterday, which was just, pretty incredible though, to actually being able to just go through one whole summary, or one just last piece of a summary that I initially was going through in 30 minutes, actually just surpassing or just going through in, I think it was actually quite the half. It's quite just great to see that I'm actually capable of doing this. I was really kind of surprised by myself that I was actually able to just put all the words that are in my head, because this was the most difficult thing about it, that I did just know what I was talking about before, and it was way much more than I was just then talking about in the episode, in the second episode of it, at the end. But I did just still manage to just put every single information that is some kind of important to me in terms of the whole summary, or in terms of the whole thing, I did believe, okay, this is something that a lot of people get value from, and it was even in a great way. It was even, in a great way in terms of actually me talking in a good way. The English went well, and, so on and so on and so on. But as you can see, we are actually in another book summary, and today I'm actually on the thatpowermoves.com website. I haven't been there in quite a while, I have to say. I'm still just grateful for being here again, because I know that there are just a lot of fucking book summaries, and this is just what I just really like about this page, that there are so many information, or that there is so many information, which is just incredible. And you can even get a bit of it for free. After I think 4 or 5 summaries, you do just have to pay for it to actually view them. But I think that's totally okay. Actually also paying for them would be okay for me, because I do understand, okay, this is a lot of work, and this just, takes a lot of time, and therefore paying a little bit for it, I think it's some kind of a $10 or something, not that much definitely, is quite okay. So the title is Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabana, which is, I think, quite interesting, and it seems to be a lot of practical advice in it, which is totally something that I do just, I think I would prefer it in terms of actually rather something theoretical or practical, because just having something that you can actually choose or use right ahead is something that I so much like. And this was actually one of the things that I liked so much about How to Win Friends and Influence People, because it gave you so much different ways of just using what you have learned, and actually gave you ways and stories in which he was talking about how he used it and what he did achieve with it. I think that's great. But I think we are going ahead with the summary, not to just lose a lot more time, which is totally something I do not want to do, because I do know that your time, and especially your time, is precious. It's definitely not about my time, because today I actually do have quite a lot of time, which is totally great. The Charisma Myth teaches the readers how to be more charismatic. It has tones of great wisdom and insight, with both good psychology and lots of practical tips. And I do believe that being charismatic or empathetic, and I think this is quite just something like the same, it's definitely not quite the same, but it's just, something in the same space, I would say, the bullet summary. Charisma is something we can all learn, and this is something I deeply believe in. I think there are certain tasks, as if it's in terms of your voice, your tone of voice, the words you use, your body language, a lot of things just really are a factor of being more charismatic. And I do just believe in that some people do have the ability to be just charismatic, and this is just what it is, and some people do just have just have to learn it. It's what's quite with everything on the earth is. There are people who are talented, and most of the people still do just have to some kind of learn it. Charisma is presence, warmth and power. Warmth and power. Too much warmth would be, or what is it called? Fuck. Yeah, pretty much means too nice. Too much power would then be arrogant and distant. So too much warmth is too nice, and too much power is arrogant and or distant. There can be some downside to charisma, like jealousy and isolation. Use vulnerability. I do quite think that people will definitely get jealous of you, just, if they see that you're so charismatic and, everybody likes you and everybody can just deal with you and you can deal with everybody else and just these things. And not because being just charismatic is something that's so unusual or so precious, but I just think that, the people are in general just jealous of quite everything. And I do understand it to some kind of a degree that you might just want to be as good as some other persons are at, certain things. But, I do not just understand the negative side of it. You could just go up to this person and ask, okay, how do all these people like you? How is it going? Do you have any tricks? Can you give me some advice on how you're doing it? Because maybe then I can just implement all the tricks and tips you gave me into my kind of a routine or, whatever you're thinking about. And I do think, just not being so negative all the time is just one of the ways to go, I would say. Because, you just see a lot of negativity out there in the world. And if you're then just as well such a negative person and put out so much negativity, it's not good for you and it's not good for all the people that are around you. And just rather choose to be positive and positive about you and your life and your friends and, whatever it is. But the full summary. We can all learn charisma. We don't have to be naturally outgoing or handsome. Indeed, charisma will make you more attractive. So it will make you just more attractive. And introverts can be very charismatic as well, and it's actually an advantage for certain forms of charisma. I do just think that introverts actually do have some kind of an advantage for some things. I do not know about charisma, because it definitely involves just, kind of engaging with people. I do just understand it because they're just, or seem for me, I'm just having this stereotypical picture in my mind that, they are quite just not shy, but they're not too loud, they do not shout around, and they're just really nice to be around with because they just do not do things that might bother you because they're just so introverted. But I don't know, it's just me assuming some things which might not necessarily be true. But yeah, 3 quick tips. Actually close it up a little bit just to have something else. So 3 quick tips for a charisma boost or for charisma boosts. The first one is lower the intonation of your voice at the end of the sentence, which is something I do not know, and therefore I'm just Googling it because I think this is important. Because intonation, I don't know what the intonation is. So the rise and fall of the voice in speaking, which means maybe like lower the intonation of your voice at the end of the sentence. Maybe something like this. I don't know. Just being very high and very just, maybe empathetic in the beginning, but lowering down at the end so that people know that you calm down and that you just try to be charismatic or something like this. I don't know. But okay. Yeah, I think it is. It's just actually being a little bit calmer with your voice, being a little bit more smoother with your voice actually seems to make you more charismatic. And I do understand it because it actually, I think, creates just a great atmosphere around the people and just around yourself. The second one is reduce your speed and quantity of nodding. Nodding is something that I've been quite not reading about. Yeah, also reading about in the body language books that I've been just, featuring on this channel, on this podcast, whatever. And you should definitely check them out because they are fucking great. They're really fucking great. You can learn just a lot from them. And I think it was actually one of the books that I've learned, the most from. Actually, just in the top, 5 books or something. Actually besides How to Win Friends and Influence People. But I would definitely suggest you to go check it out. If you want to check it out on my channel, just, I think you should probably search it in Google with my name and something like body language. I did just do a lot of episodes on it, I think actually 5 or something, and I did feature not only one book, but the specific book that I was featuring was actually the what was it called? The something like book of body language. So blah 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 book of body language. The definitive book of body language. And you can totally just, search up or look up the summary itself if you just want to go through it a little bit faster, or just listen to the audio of it so that you might also, are able to just learn a lot if you're on the go and if you're working or if you're just in the car, which is totally something great, I think. And the third one is, and so in terms of the nodding, actually when people speak to you, if you're nodding very fast, this just indicates, okay, I know what you're talking about, please go on and please make it a little bit faster. But if you're nodding just really just quite slowly, you're just giving them these signals that you're actually understanding what they are saying and that you're giving attention to them and what they are saying. And also the quantity matters. So there was some kind of a rule of thumb or something where the authors actually were saying, okay, you should actually nod 3 times after he just ended speaking and, whatever. I do quite think that, you should just in general nod when they are talking. And if you're agreeing or not, I think just nodding itself is just a great gesture. Whether you are actually believing what the person is saying or not doesn't necessarily matter, I think. But yeah, the third and last one is from the 3 quick tips. Maybe close it up once. Pause for 2 seconds before you reply. I do just feel that a lot about it is quite in terms of being calm and not being too fast, not being too energetic. I do not want to say that you shouldn't be energetic because you want to be charismatic or something. I do just think that there are a lot of ways for being charismatic, and a lot of people will just kind of respond to it in a different way. So some people might be liking just really empathetic and really just loud and really excited people, and some other maybe just like the introverted ones, the ones that are just really calm and I don't know, just this some kind of a people. But yeah, we assess first friend or foe, intentions and power. Olivia Cabana says that upon first meeting someone, we want to assess whether they are friends or foes. I hope it's actually called foes, it's FOENNS. And whether they have the power to act on those intentions. I do quite believe in it because I do just always kind of think of us in terms of I'm sorry, if it was up to this point pretty loud, I'm very, very sorry because I actually did just close my doors, not my doors, but my windows, because I just forgotten to actually close them. And I'm quite used to it, I'm just used to the street that's next to my house and that's quite next to my window. And therefore I'm not quite, giving any attention to what I'm quite hearing there. I hope it didn't kind of disturb you and the whole experience of the podcast or the video. So I do believe in it because I think if you're just thinking of us in terms of the really Asian kind of people, like the Stonemans and whatever they were actually called, I don't know, and they just had to just think in terms of this. They had to just think like, okay, is this a predator or a foe or is this actually a friend? And they just really had to quickly see whether it is the one thing or the other thing. And I do believe a lot of just these Asian kind of characteristics or traits, a lot of them are still in us, even though we don't need them. I do just think about fear. Fear is definitely some of these things that I think we do not necessarily have to have. Not in terms of, because fear is something that's pretty difficult to talk about. Because first of all, fear is definitely something good because it just shows you that something is, going to happen and you should keep attention to something maybe. If you're just next to it, just really, big valley or something that you're not just stepping aside and falling down or something. But on the other hand, it is just really, really, really overdone, in nowadays lives, especially because a lot of people are feared to just speak with people. A lot of people are just feared of some very typical things that are quite like normal. So it's not normal for everybody. So therefore, it's quite quote unquote normal. But yeah. So the three elements of charisma. The three elements of charisma for Cabana are the presence, the power, and the warmth. Power without warmth is impressive, but can come across as cold, arrogant, and standoffish. Standoffish. Whatever this actually means, I've never heard the word. Warmth without power can be likable and can come across as subservient and eager to please. Also read No More Mr. Nice Guy, which was actually one of the books that I initially wanted to go through as well, but I kind of decided to not go through it because I really felt like, okay, this is just not providing just a lot of great value, and or it was something like I didn't actually want to give to you, so this wasn't actually something that I would suggest, and therefore I decided, okay, no, even though I went through it just a little bit to see if there's something in it, I still remember this, because there are actually not that much books that I'm actually kind of refusing to go through. But let's go ahead with the presence or whatever it is called. So the presence, being aware of what's going on. So presence means being aware of what's going on. When we are not present, is it presence? Never mind. So when we are not present in the conversation or in the environment, it shows and we are not charismatic. Here is how to acquire more presence or whatever. Learn presence with meditation, and when your mind wanders, focus on your breath and toes to come back to the present. Actually, meditation is something good. It's definitely something for everybody, because not everybody likes to just, sit around and quite do nothing, even though you do just, think, and whatever you're doing, maybe you're breathing in a certain way. But yeah, actually focusing on your breath, even though I do just have to say, when I'm meditating, I'm just often really focusing on my breath. And this is just for me then a way to actually just get out of this kind of a reality, because if you might know if you just meditate yourself, but a lot of times if you just meditate, and I do think this is just, the whole reason behind meditation, I do think that you do meditate to kind of escape from the reality, some sort of, because all the time when I'm meditating, I do just feel just really inside me, everything quite just somehow sounds differently, so it's not that bright, and I do just not seem so present. I do just really be or seem to be in my body, in my head, and this is an amazing feeling. And the problem with it is, if you recognize it and if you just focus on this feeling, most of the time the whole meditation effect or the effect of these feelings go away, and you just somehow turn into the reality again, which is then some kind of a pissing or a fucked up moment, because you feel like, okay, this is such a great feeling and you want to have it all the fucking time, but it's not possible for you because your body then just shifts. Power is the ability to affect the world around us, whether it be on influence or power over others. You recognize power based on appearance and other people's reaction to us, and also the body language. The appearance, definitely, I would say. And I do think that there, is some kind of a reason why there's just still a lot of powerful people maybe, are wearing certain things, maybe like suits. Maybe suits just creates the feeling of power, maybe, I don't know. It is also in terms of quite symbols, yeah. Because if I remember correctly, symbols are actually just really abstract ways or abstract things that show you certain feelings or certain most of the time feelings, and or just other things. For example, the cross is a symbol of the Catholic or of the Christian religion, and it practically stands for Jesus Christ. The thing is, if you're just looking on the cross, it is definitely not showing Jesus Christ. It's the same thing with maybe wearing a suit. If you're just wearing a suit, you're just not seeing the whole power of the appearance. But we kind of assume it, or we kind of connect it with the power and with a great experience, or with, not experience, but appearance, and so on. And also the other two definitely. So when you actually see that other people are reacting to a certain person in a certain way, I do think you're some kind of a primed, or you do get some kind of primed, which means that you can't just think in the way you actually initially wanted about this certain person, because you have seen that some other people are actually reacting to this person in a different way, or in a certain way, and also with body language, obviously, because you really can just create the feeling of power, and or you can really create the feeling of showing power, some kind of. And warmth is the goodwill we have towards others. It says whether we want to use our power to help others or to harm them. Obstacles to presence, power, and warmth. The following are common obstacles to unleashing your presence, power, and warmth. The physical discomfort. Physical discomfort affects our mental states, which in turn affects our expressions, body language, and social skills performance. To combat physical discomfort, so you do just have to read it again, because I didn't keep any attention to the text, which is totally something. If you're just doing some kind of the same type of podcast, or you're just reading a lot on your own, just really try to focus on the text you're reading, because often I think we do just shift in some kind of a mode in which we do just reading, but we actually do not keep close attention to what we are reading. So it's not quite about the reading itself, but about the information we get, or we should get, because we're actually then not getting it. To combat, so physical discomfort affects our mental states, which in turn affects our expressions, body language, and social skills performances. To combat physical discomfort, wear clothes that fit well, and or you just feel like good in, or just clothes you pretty much like. And you do just really know the moment, hopefully. If you're just wearing maybe new clothes, or clothes you just really like, you're completely feeling differently, and I think you're feeling more confident even. Eat well and check the nutrition guide. And definitely eat well. Also in terms of actually being mentally okay, because at my point of view, the whole mind and body connection is so deep, and you can definitely just see it when you maybe know somebody who has depression, and depression could actually go in such a enormous stage where you actually can feel the effects of your depression physically, so on your body. And this just really shows for me, or underlines for me, that the connection between the body and the mind is actually pretty fucking dense. Definitely. But yeah. And the last one is get all the rest you need. Definitely. I think it was it today? No, it was actually yesterday, because I'm not sleeping that much, at the moment, which is, totally because of what I'm doing right now, because I do just have to put in the time to actually record the videos and make the posts and whatsoever. And because I'm actually at home at 7 p.m. or something, around 7 p.m., sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes a little bit later, and I do just have to actually go to bed at, quite 9 p.m. because I have to get up at 5 a.m., quite 5:20 a.m. actually. I'm kind of, just trying to put everything into this kind of, time span that I'm having. So from kind of 7 or 8 actually, when I'm just showering and eating and all this kind of stuff. And, but most of the time I just surpass this kind of a guideline for me. So most of the time I do just, really stay up until 12 p.m. or something like this. Or actually, when it's midnight, yeah. Because I actually once intended to actually schedule a post on 12 p.m. So actually at midnight, and I actually came to the conclusion it's not possible, because there is not something as 12 p.m. There's actually only, I think, 0 a.m. or something. It should be the case, or it's or it's vice versa. It could also be the thing. but I don't know. And the last thing is recognize. Take a moment to notice if you're tense or not. And if yes, fix it. Fix what is bothering you and reframe it. See it in a different light, how it is good and how you can use it. And that's definitely very, very good. Especially the whole framing thing, but I do just have... I think to really fix what's bothering you, you do just have to frame it, or you just have to look at it in a certain way so that you can get out of your loop of being so negative about a certain thing or thinking about it in this way. And if you're framing it, which might actually be a great example, I think, is if you're complaining about your food not being warm or not being as good, and you're just blaming your mother because she just really cooked you something that you do not like and whatever, you do just have to reframe this, and you just have to put it in another perspective and just see, okay, there are a lot of people who do just not have any fucking food. And I think this is one way to go in terms of framing. I do just hope that he means this by framing, but yeah, I do think that just really having the perspective and having the frames, the kind of different frames for every single thing, I don't know, is quite important to actually see the real life, I would say, because I think often we just change our reality and change our thoughts in such a way that everything is a little bit different than it is actually, or that it actually is. But yeah, mental discomfort, anxiety, dissatisfaction, self-criticism, or self-doubt, or doubt. Is it doubt? I think this is actually a silent B. Could this be the case? I don't know. Uncertainty, to deal with uncertainty. So uncertainty and how to deal with uncertainty. Lie down, close your eyes, and relax. What does uncertainty actually mean? I do just understand it quite yeah. But maybe, which is definitely... Okay, so the first one is lie down, close your eyes, and relax. The second one is take 2 or 3 deep breaths, imagine the air in the exhale, imagine the air in, then exhale all your worries, which I think basically means you should just imagine the air you're just blowing out just being your worries, and do just some kind of visualizing it. I do think this is also a great way for the brain to actually kind of move to this kind of process, if just showing it by thinking about it and whatsoever. Imagine a benevolent, it's BENEVOLENT, an entity of your choice, like God or fate or the universe, etc. Okay, it makes sense for me, because I do think, okay, having something that's bigger than you and that's some kind of, rule for you, and that's ruling just you, could be some kind of a great thing for you, because you do just have then a reason for why you're doing things, and you do just maybe do not feel alone. This could also be a thing. The fourth one is imagine they come to collect all your worries, and the fifth one is feel the weight being lifted off. Okay, so I do quite believe that imagining it and just visualizing it is very important, because we are all so visual, just people and or animals, actually. So we just like to have visuals, and I also think, and this is something I know, but I should totally just look it up once more, is that our brain actually can't decide between the reality and our thoughts. And therefore, just thinking about certain things like, I'm the best, or I am so rich and whatsoever, then our body and our mind and reality actually thinks that we have accomplished these things. For sure, this is something I tried out, but for sure you do just have to be really kind of pursued by yourself, that it is actually true what you're saying and what you're telling yourself. I think because I think without that, it's not that great, and it wouldn't work that great, because your mind knows when it is just shitting on itself, I think. But yeah, I do think this is the end with the episode. I do hope that you liked it. I really liked it, because everything went well. The whole speaking went well. And the company, not the company, but actually, because I'm just, looking at comparison, there's the COMP as well, and I don't know, somehow or COMPA actually. But yeah, I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you do just have your wealth, health, happiness, and success, especially happiness, because happiness is fucking important. And yeah, I hope you're doing well, and I do also hope that you're keeping attention to your legacy and giving back to the people. Yeah, exactly. Because giving back is something that's, very powerful for you, as being happy about you and you being actually so great and just donating your money and whatsoever, and actually for all the other people. And yeah, with that being said, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow, because this is actually the episode tomorrow. I do just have to record the other episode for Friday today, because actually 10 minutes before 5. Everything is working out quite fine today. I did have just, I think, 2 hours less of school, which is totally great, because I do just have the time to do this now and actually do something for school afterwards as well. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I wish you the best. I'll see you. I do not see my mouse, and I love you. And I've actually forgotten to put in the intro or the outro. And yeah, I hope you're doing well. I'll see you the next time, and I love you.